This episode of Plasticon Reviews is brought to you by DarkDominion.com. Check them out for all your 3D printing needs.
In the world of the Transformers, nothing is what it seems. Meet the Constructicons, 6 evil robots that transform into one mechanical giant.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers.
It's Devastator, 6 Constructicons in 1.
Transformers,
Devastator's
more
attacking.
than meets the eye.
Constructicons gift set sold separately.
Hey, B.
What?
Dude, you might want to look over your shoulder.
Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we are going to cover one of the most important and most awesome combiners known to the Generation 1 universe for Decepticons. I am talking about Devastator himself. These are probably some of the coolest toys you will ever have in your collection. Whether it be a knockoff version of it, which I happen to have, or it be the purebred Generation 1. I am going to be covering all 6 bots in every form possible. Starting out today, we're going to start out with Long Haul. As you guys can see, he's a very, very, very cute little dump truck. Here's Long Haul. Yes, I know he's very, very, very green. Very. But that's what makes him awesome. Very green, very purple, very awesome. As you notice, he is actually in power-up mode. Power-up mode is basically this waste piece that you use to construct Devastator. Clips onto the back of him via these 2 holes. There. Right here and right there. Onto those 2 little pegs that are sticking up on the back. extremely simple transformations on these guys, and that's why these guys are awesome. First thing you're going to do with him, I always do with him, is I pull the legs down. Do it very gently, because these guys are pretty rickety. Position. It's kind of tight right here, but you can get it. Next thing you do is you pull this entire cab portion down. Get a bit of a click, maybe. I didn't. Doesn't matter. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to pull out the arms. Not all the way. Mine have some tight joints and some loose joints just because they're so old. So. And move his little fists out because they're kind of retracted in. And then you can kind of push his arms in just a little bit. I tend to do that so that way I don't have to worry about his arms flopping. Next thing you do is you'll pull this entire portion here that covers the ab section, and then pull up his head. Then, last but not least, we're going to add his little gun. I don't remember exactly the order of all these guns, but they will hold them. Some of them are a little loose, so it's trial and error here, so bear with me on that. Some of them like to fit right, some of them don't. Yeah, there we go. See? It's got a nice little gun there. It's kind of hard to see, you know. Quite a bit of molded detail. Check out the head sculpt. It's very, very plain, very G1. But that's why you get these guys. This little dump truck turns into a little guy. Gotta love long. Anyhow, we're going to continue on with Scavenger. As you can see, Scavengers are actually in his little power-up mode as well. It's got this nice little gun here on the back, along with this nice little drilling mechanism here. Actually does fire, if I can get it to fire. Sometimes it just, oh, yep, there we go. Fire right out. Poke an eye out with that thing. That's why Hasbro quit putting spring-loaded things on things. Stupid. Anyway. It's obviously a backhoe, or a excavator, as some people want to call it. It will only go up so far with this little mechanism here. Pull this off. The way it holds on with those two little peg holes versus these two little pegs here on the side. As you can see right here. And this little gun just makes a little hole in the top. But he's got this nice little articulation here. You can move it all the way around, 360. It does look kind of goofy like this because it does stick out a lot, so I tend to not do that much. But there he is in his excavator form. Kind of cool. I actually love these guys because these guys almost scale with your Hot Wheels. Which is pretty cool. If you guys don't believe me, here's a Hot Wheel. Kinda does. But anyway, let's move on to transformation. First thing I always do is stand him up like this, fold this bit in, and just let this kind of hang like that. And the next thing I'll do is I will move his legs down. Then I will turn his little feet. I do have some new repro labels on here. They're not really stick very well, which is kind of annoying me at the moment. Next thing I do, after you pull his little feet out, just grab this, and then you are going to pull these out. Might be easier just to kind of grab it down here and pull it out. Just depends. Some of these transform a little easier than others. Just the way these are. Some are tight, some are loose. And you just flip that up. Like so. Yeah. There we go. That is Scavenger in robot mode. Check out his little head. Little G1-ish head. He does his little gun as well. And so they will stand up. The thing with him, if you want him to stand up really well, you generally want to keep this backhoe bit down like this, because he does have a very, very, very small heel space. So I tend to do that so that way he stands up really well. That way he doesn't really fall over much. But there you go. Scavenger. Now let's move on to Bone Crusher. The bulldozer. The epic bulldozer. Here's Bone Crusher in his bulldozer mode with his power up launching missile thing. Yeah. They're very, very stiff. These things, they're just spring loaded. Some of them tend to shoot fairly well, some don't. If it doesn't, just kind of push down on this and pull out. But it holds on by those two little holes onto the little smokestacks, which was kind of clever. I like the idea that with these, they put a lot of time into designing them so that way they had all these versatile things going on. But he is in his little doze mode. And we're going to transform him. First thing to do, I always take his feet and pull these down. Actually, scratch that. Take this bit, flip it up. Then you will flip these arms out, like so. Ooh, I just lost a decal. Oh, crotch piece. So I was saying, these decals have not been holding on him at all. I don't know why. Okay. And next thing you do, take this bucket piece here and kind of move it up. And what I'll do is I'll take his arms and rotate them like this and bring him down. Take his feet, move his entire feet section down, just folds down. Then these parts, kind of pull them out. Fold it down, fold it out. Then we'll take this bit, fold it up, flip that up, and then you can kind of move his arms down a little bit if you want, or however you want to do it. Thing is, I've seen this guy positioned in so many different ways. I've seen people position it like this, I've seen people do this. There's a multitude of ways to actually display this guy, but let's put a gun in his little hand. Find the right one, which I probably don't have out. Might be on one of the other bots. Okay. Doesn't look really. Let's try a different one. Shall we? Okay. This does not want to hold in. Yeah. Hold my hand either. You guys get the idea. Little gun, little pew pew, little laser. So like I said, I don't remember exactly the order of the guns, but I've got all the guns. Pretty cool. Really like it. Cool thing is he actually does stand up pretty well by himself. There's a lot of people that, you know, tend to complain about their Transformers not standing up very well. Well, this guy tends to. It's really nice. He's got big feet. But anyhow, there's Bone Crusher in his robot mode. Now, let's move on to Mixmaster. He's a cement truck with a giant, enormous gun on the top, because that's Devastators. Pull the gun off. It does have two holes on the top. You can put a gun here, and I did pull one little gun out of there. It does hold it very well. As you notice, the barrel is a different color. I do have the green barrel, but it's kind of a pain putting these barrels inside these. So I tend to just leave the purple one in because I changed it over to that. It's off the upgrade kit, just to let you guys know that have not seen this.
The Transformers, sold separately from Hasbro.
As you guys can see, green barrel, purple barrel. They do have a slight difference to them because this is how it would originally look. This one here actually has a little more of a concave look than this one here. But that's what the original one looks like, and that's what the new one looks like. It's just a pain trying to pull this out and put the other one back in. Don't want to risk breaking anything. It was kind of a knuckle biter when I was trying to do it. So. But anyhow, there he is in his little mixing truck mode. His big chrome grill and all that. Now, simple transformation. Flip this bit. This bit here tends to get caught. And this one here, sadly, is probably the one that likes to fall over the most because this doesn't really hold very well here sometimes because it tends to try to flip back. So, it's got to be kind of careful. But, what you're going to do is pull these arms out. So, little gun in his hand. And, for giggles, this little twin chrome thingy goes right here. So like so. He does have the spring-loaded mechanism right here. As you can see, I just fired it off. I have no idea where that just went. It's pretty strong spring. Yeah, let's drop this over. It happens. But there we go. There is Mixmaster. Let's get a look at his head sculpt. It's kind of doofy, but what do you expect? It's G1. Peddler. Anyhow, let's move on to Hook. It's a crane, as you guys can tell. Very big crane. It's got a good reach on him too. About as far as it goes. Also got this bit here in the middle. Obviously is Devastator's head. Just pegs on. This big peg right here for power up mode. Also has a little gun here that can be placed right there on that little bitty hole. It's kind of cool. But anyway, you can tell this actually has rotation. It will rotate 360 degrees. So, you know, you don't have to be stuck with a stagnant crane, which is really neat. Hook does kind of move up and down. It's kind of cool. Doesn't really like to hang on much. I mean, if you got something hang off a string, it works really well. But there he is in his crane mode. But, next thing we're going to do, bring this down. Now, when you transform this guy, you have to pull this portion out. Then you'll flip the legs down. So they're very stiff. When you flip them, you're going to pull them apart. So, this allows them to lock in place. Kind of. Then next thing you do, drop that back down. The crane portion, I tend to bring down just a little bit. You can flip the hook up like this. And just have it kind of come down a little bit like that. That way it kind of helps hold him up, because he is a little back heavy. Next thing I do is I pull this bit out. It's a lot like Mixmaster. Quite a few ways here. Pull it out, and then flip his head up. Just like so. And take his little gun, his hand, bit. That's what I want to. Try the wrong size one. There we go. And there's Hook. And his robot movement. Check out the scopes. Doofy, like I said, these G1s are all like that. But what do you expect? 6 robots that have very nice vehicle forms that turn into one big robot. So. There he is. Now we're going to move on to, last but not least, Scrapper. Feels silly. Here is Scrapper in his flying loader of death mode. Don't ask me. Anyhow, flying loader of death. See, he's got wings. He can fly. Why not? He's got wings. Why not? Obviously, you can tell these wings are the centerpiece for Devastator. But anyway, here's his loader mode. This moves up and down. That's about all it does. Wheels turn. It's pretty cool. Do like him a lot. But transformation. Transformation on this guy is simple. Pull these two bits back. It will kind of auto pull herself apart because it's designed to kind of push itself apart, so it's got a little bit of separation. Next thing I always do is shovel back, and he just moves his arms up, and then you gotta reach in here, you gotta pull his head up, and take a gun, stick a gun in his hand. Try to get this one here to stay, which probably want to. This is probably one of the other ones. But there he is in his robot mode. Look at the head sculpt. Obviously, like I said, real G1-ish. A lot of detail. Drops his gun. What do you expect? This guy here being the leader, which is really, really odd that he becomes a foot. I always thought that was weird. But he is the leader of the Constructicons. But anyhow, there are the Constructicons in their pure form of epic destruction or construction. Hoo hoo hoo. Pun. Anyhow, we are going to take all the little guns out and we are going to turn them into their limb modes. First thing we're going to do, let's start out with the feet first. Why not? Take Mixmaster here. Take Mixmaster, move the gun. Obviously, if you had this in, you'd get rid of it out. Missile last shot that I have no idea where it went now. These down. Push them in. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to pull this down. You're going to take the calf section, move it like this, and make sure this is down all the way. Then you'll rotate it up, just like so. We have just now formed a foot. Moving on, take scavenger. Take a little scavenger here, pull his gun out. I'm going to take and fold his legs back up. Just like we're turning back into his vehicle form. Which we technically do just put him back in vehicle form, which is really weird. I'm going to flip him over. And you're going to put his arms up like he's trying to raise a roof. Or go a handstand. Move this up. Now right here, see this little plastic bit right here that's in between? That right there will actually move up and down. Thing is if you push in the head just a little bit, the head itself won't go in all the way, but the head itself pushes against these that keeps this from folding in. A lot of people don't know this about Devastator, but that's what that functions for. It's used to keep this from flopping forward. Now I'm going to tell you, not 100% of the time does it work, but it does help. There is a foot. Now, let's move on to torso. Take long haul here. Take a little long haul here. Pause gun. Yay, gun go bye-bye. And flip that down. Just lay it down. You can leave this back. You're going to take his arms and fold all this back up. Just like so. And then his arms back in. Just like that. This thing is being a little stiff. Got it. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take his legs, fold his legs back up. And you're going to leave it a cracked in half truck. Push this thing here back. Now you can have it back like this, or if you want to, you can kind of push it up like this. I tend to try to have it back like this, so that way this is all nice and flush and symmetrical, because I'm big on that kind of stuff. I don't know what it is with me, so. Oh well. Then, you're going to take this weird looking piece, and you're going to take this, you're going to push this, put this part here down, and him like this, right in between those bits. You do this, these two little grooves, or two little nubs there, will actually lock around this. I'm not going to push it in all the way, because if I do, it'll lock, and it's kind of hard to get out, because I'm actually going to show you guys the other connection. But there we go. There is the torso bit. Setting him down right here. Obviously setting on his face. Sorry, long haul. But let's move on to building the shoulder bit. This is going to become the shoulder. That's what Hook does. Take this part, You know, hold this all the way up. Pull his head back in. Basically, what you're going to try to do is put him back into his vehicle mode. Pull this down. Flip these up. Now, what you're going to do, instead of pushing this all the way back in, you're going to pull this again, because it's got two little bits here. Fold this little piece here out and leave it out. Then you're going to take this entire thing and accordion it together. Just like so. Form that. Now, some people like to put this thing forward, sometimes they like to leave it back. I like to leave mine back because it's kind of silly having this gigantic thing sticking out here, like way out here. It does that, so it's better off to leave it just like this, because it doesn't get in the way of anything else. Now you will notice I got a post here, I got a hole right there. Those will come in handy later. The next thing I'm going to do is take this bit, hold the head up, then you got this slot. It will slot over this entire bit here on the back. And it's kind of a knuckle biter sometimes because it really does like to grab fairly well. But do it just right, slide over just fine. I'm not going to push it in too far. Like I said, I've got the other part I'm going to show you guys. I don't want to have to fight trying to get this thing apart, because once you get them together, it tends to not really fall apart very much. That's another thing. There's a lot of people always fragilely fall apart. Not if you're careful and know how to fix things. But anyhow, what we're going to do is we're going to put this guy down. We're going to do the two arms first.
Now it's here in theaters everywhere. Transformers the movie. It's over, Pride. Does crime die? Transformers the movie, rated PG, now playing everywhere. Don't miss it.
We have a military attack group like the Combaticons. We transform Combaticons and attack the new Autobot city.
More than meets the eye.
Autobots, this is our new city, Metroplex. It can transform into a battle station and then transform again into the gigantic Metroplex himself.
But the Combaticons can combine to form Bruteskin.
Decepticons attack! Transform Metroplex!
The Transformers.
The Transformers from Hasbro.
Anyhow, moving on to the arms. First off, start with Scavenger here. Here is Scavenger. Take this off. It's good. Then, that's what we're going to do. Is pretty much we're going to turn him back into his excavator mode. Flip his head down. Put his arms away. And next thing you're going to do, his feet back into position, fold him all the way back. Now, something you can do, instead of folding him all the way up like that, first, this little piece here, move that out, all the way. Maybe not sticking out. Now we've got that little bit right here. That will allow you to attach his arm. Now, I'm not pushing it on all the way because I actually had to build these up a little bit to get these to actually work with the expansion set that I bought. So, this part here, some people leave it out like this. Yeah, I tend to do kind of something like that with Then we're going to take a fist. One fist. It's got a little peg. Goes in there. Now you gotta remember, these are spring loaded, so they will try to shoot out on you. It's always a cool little gimmick. It's like I said, it's very temperamental because I had to build these up. I'm gonna try to do the best I can do with what I got. And there we go. And take his gun. Put it in his hand. So there we go. We got one arm of Devastator. Let's move on to Bone Crusher. Take a little Bone Crusher here. Then we're going to turn him into his bulldozer mode. These up, slide it in, this back, take this part, push this forward again, his arms, collapse these all the way back in, just like you're turning him back into his bulldozer mode. That's pretty much what you do. Pull his head up. It's already got a peg hole right there. It's also got a peg down here. It's for this. Slip that on. And there we go. Another arm. Now, let's move on to combination. Let's combine these guys. First thing I do is I take long haul. And you take this guy. Now you see how this is actually kind of wedge, and then this will actually clip up underneath. It's an extremely tight fit, just to let you know. So sometimes if you get this guy, sometimes you have to do a little bit of filing and knuckle biting. It's not gonna fit and it's gonna break. Tends to happen sometimes. Now, one thing I really dislike about this is this will possibly scrape off your stickers. So when applying this, very careful. Sometimes it might just scrape off the stickers you got. But there we go. There's one leg. Now, next thing. You can obviously tell one of these is already snapped off. It's got two little bitty things that hold it. This thing kind of just wedges in between this little plastic bit here in the middle. In between these two. And these just kind of help stabilize it and keep it from sliding side to side. That's pretty much what those are for. You can do this without those even being on there. I've seen people succeed in that. It works okay, but don't really recommend it that much. So far, that's what we got. Now underneath long haul, you see that slot right there. This waist piece. Slide directly under there. The reason why I wait to do that is after I put these on, put it on. That way I don't have to risk knocking it off. Getting fairly big, you can tell. Now the next thing we're going to do, these two holes here on the bottom. Those will plug in that post and that hole right there on the top. Just like so. There we go. Getting fairly big. Now next thing we're going to do, that hole I was telling you about, there's that peg. Very gently try to put it in there. It's like I said, Devastator, it's a bit of a knuckle biter, but he is well worth the money if you buy it. You can tell that one bit fell off. That's my fault because I had to do a little modification to, you know, to make the other part fit. But that's because I bought an expansion kit. Not everybody buys the expansion kits, just keep that in mind. So if you do end up getting one of these guys, go for it. It's not a bad expansion kit, especially after you get done seeing what it does to this guy, and it makes it a lot better than what these simple bits here do. You can't seem to get that to stay, so if it falls off again, it falls off again. Anyhow, take this part, it's like a little square. It will plug in right over the other hole. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's very, very finicky. If you have problems, kind of take the post and move it backward. Last but definitely not least, we're going to put this part on. Now this actually has like a tooth, and then it's got a peg hole. This peg hole right here. This peg hole right here will actually peg into the peg that's sticking out here, and it will latch around the part over here. So you just have to kind of over it, fit. And this is not my favorite part right here. It doesn't tend to ever hardly stick. There we go. There is Generation 1 Devastator in his full-fledged form. Now, something really, really odd that every one of them came with was this weird gun. This actually sticks into the side of Devastator's head. He actually has a port there on the side of his head. See that hole? Pour it into the side. Like that. And there we go. You guys get a good look at the head sculpt. He's a very, very big figure. I highly recommend picking him up because he is probably one of the coolest that you're ever going to get. I mean, next to Menasor, this guy is my favorite. I love Devastator, but who doesn't really? I mean, it's almost a cliche thing nowadays, which is kind of bad, but who cares? This guy was always my favorite when I was a kid. But anyway, let's give you a size comparison here. Break out good old peekaboo here. Quickly transform the peekaboo. Okay. Good old peekaboo prime. There he goes. Show you how he kind of sizes up compared to peekaboo. And let's see, let's get a RID spine changer. Yeah, maybe do. Most of you guys have a legend-sized guy running around. Oh, here's Legends Wheelie. But there you go, it kind of gives you a little bit of a size comparison. The guy is pretty good size. He's not the tallest thing in the world, but that's how big he is with the normal configuration. Is the second of the lot of toys I am reviewing. So let's get right on to it. To Generation 1 Devastator. Here's G1 Devastator in his box. It's the box. Hey guys, it's the box. Now a lot of you guys out there, eagle-eye viewers, probably noticed a purple. Yes, sorry you got an expansion pack installed. This thing is awesome. But we're going to be also reviewing, BAM! The X-Transbots Expansion Pack! The year is 1985. And coming out of the Generation 1 line comes Generation 1 Devastator, also known as the Constructicons. This fleet of construction vehicles absolutely screams what the 80s was all about. Bright colors, and most vehicles, although most people out there don't know this, construction-wise, were usually in a more loud scheme. Taking a look at the first one comes Mixmaster. Mixmaster is a little mixing cement truck. It's got quite a bit of detail pulled out and absolutely looks divine in these colors, especially with the little purple add-on kit to give us a little purple barrel. This transformation is easy as pie. It's extremely simple transforming these guys, and it's just satisfying how fast they transform. Once you get Mixmaster in his little robot mode, it's clear that he is just a little blockhead. Although the block aesthetic looks really cool, especially for this little guy. Next in the line comes Scrapper. Yes, the little loader. This loading / digging vehicle absolutely carries itself very well. It does fit the very vintage vibe of all these construction vehicles, but yet it still has some kind of charm. As you go to transform this guy, it's clear and straightforward. There isn't any really tricks to transforming this guy whatsoever. And after you get done putting him into his robot form, it's clear that he has got this stoic kind of look. He actually looks like a leader because he is the leader of the Constructicons. Moving on to the next one comes Long Haul. Long Haul is a dump truck, a very vintage dump truck. Although you don't really see many out there that look like this as a dual axle, this thing straight up looks like a little Tonka toy. It actually has a dumping bed, and it really works very, very well, just in every sense of what a dump truck should do. When you go into his transformation, he actually has a little more intuitive kind of transformation. I just like the idea that how you kind of pull the arms out and untuck his little fists. This is a little touch that Hasbro didn't really need to add, but they did. Next one in the line comes Hook. Hook is this crazy crane. Although a crane device really wouldn't look exactly like this nowadays, this is what they actually looked like back during the 70s and 80s. It has a very nice aesthetic. It works very well as a toy crane should. But as you transform him, it's clear that there's a lot going on with this guy. Although a lot of folks out there that tend to get this guy break the front portion, mainly because they don't know that when you push it out, it actually almost has an automorph and wants to slide outward. The key to transform this guy the correct way is to make sure whenever you pull the leg portion out on the sliding device that's in between, to make sure it's pulled out completely before you try moving them. Otherwise you will break off the leg. But after you get done transforming him, clearly he is one of the coolest little robots. He actually has a really nice aesthetic, and I kind of like the idea that he has this gigantic crane still stuck to his back. Moving on to another digging vehicle is our excavator, also known as Scavenger. Scavenger is a really nice looking excavator. There isn't much change throughout the years with these construction vehicles, but this thing absolutely screams what they were during the 70s and 80s. Big gigantic blocks just stuck with a shovel thingy on the front and then just moves around and like picks up dirt. But when you go into his transformation, you find out that he actually has a little more about him, with the spinning foot gimmick on top of just the simple fact that his legs fold out instead of just being like a block that you flip up. But after you get him into robot mode, he's actually pretty nice. I do like this guy a lot, although some folks really don't care for his aesthetic. I still think he's really neat. Last but definitely not least comes Bone Crusher. Most people are really familiar with this name from the movies that Michael Bay put out. But Bone Crusher was originally a bulldozer. This is a really, really nice bulldozer. He actually has a very vintage vibe with the gigantic open cab. And just, it looks cute, but tough and blocky and what these things should look like. But when you go into transforming him, he actually has a little more to him. Much like Scavenger, he actually has the flipping out foot gimmick on top of the simple fact of the arms having to kind of be pushed out and then rotated. Although he tends to have a little more articulation than the rest, he actually looks really cool. I did dig the idea that the entire bucket just becomes the chest of the robot. When you get the entire ensemble together, it's clear that these guys fit. And these guys would absolutely be what you would need to construct any kind of building or road or city or whatever you want. But these guys don't just turn into little robots, they turn into the mighty Devastator. So let's get on to that. As you start putting this guy together, it's clear that you just alter some of their modes. There's not much you have to alter on each mode, but it's actually kind of clear and concise. But putting on the X-Transbot set versus using the old waist portion and such, this actually gives him a little more added articulation. Although this set has its problems, they can be fixed very, very easily, especially if you're a customizer. If you have the ability to use a spanner and a little bit of time and patience and a little bit of clear nail polish, you can normally tighten up quite a few of the joints. But as you start putting on the arms kind of give you a little bit of a difficulty. On mine, I actually had to drill out the arms slightly in order to make them fit a little snug around the little ports coming off of Scavenger and Bone Crusher. Although throughout the years they've gotten loose, I'm just going to end up having to beef them up with some more of that good old clear nail polish. The great thing about this thing is the center waist portion. I like the idea that the waist portion gives him a waist articulation. Although most folks out there really don't care for this set because it does add a lot of articulation that an already very difficult standing robot has. It's just very difficult to say that it's not cool. I do like the idea that it did add a ball joint where you actually have to pop the head back on for the Devastator mode, but it's kind of neat. And the great thing about it is the LED. They put a little LED inside his eyeballs so that way it glows, and it's kind of nice. Although this is a little added touch that really didn't need to be necessarily brought into the add-on kit, it's pretty cool. I do know for a fact some folks have issues with the fingers on these guys, but I really haven't had any issues whatsoever with the fingers. Although they are all are articulated, I tend to just not move them around much, because I mean, to be honest, how often are you going to try to pose a Generation 1 toy without it falling over? But as far as I'm concerned, this is the masterpiece of Devastator to me. This actually filled in every single solitary portion of the kit and really made it a nice toy over the years. I do like the idea that another company out there, such as Crazy Debbie, came out with the original setup, but you know, X-Transbots did a pretty good job about trying to bulk it all and throw it all in one little box. I do know there's another one out there made by Junkion Blacksmith that I have yet to get my hands on. In the future, I guess I will. But anyhow, just for a little size comparison, here's a little Generation 2 Gold Bumblebee for you.
In a world like none other, there comes one man in search of plastic, in search of cons. He is known as Plasticon. Join him as he brings toys from another dimension to a household near you.
Welcome back to yet another Plasticon review. Today we're going to go into a little bit of something that a lot of you guys probably haven't seen. And a lot of you guys are really hyper about this whole construction thing going on. So we're going to have a construction thon. Yes, this is a Plasticon construction thon. Anyhow, let's start out today with a KO version of the world's smallest Devastator. Yes, this is a knockoff version of the KO Constructicons. Could also be known as a third party or 3P or whatever the heck you guys want to call it out there, because a lot of you guys out there have 20,000 names to these things. Bootleg. Ooh, bootlegs. Anyway, this is the construction team known as Devastator. Anyhow, let's go into it. I got them all here in their power-up mode. They got all their little parts put on there. There are one piece that I know of that's possibly missing here because a buddy of mine sent me this through the mail, and yeah. Thank you, Zach, for sending it. Anyway, let's get into it. So, let's start out with Hook. Hook is obviously a hook crane. It's got this big old gigantic chunk here, which obviously is Devastator's head. Remove that. And there you go. Let's check out all the molded detail going on there. There's quite a bit. It's actually doesn't have a raising or lowering. This doesn't extend. It's hollow on one side, which is kind of weird. But it does have some printed detail. I mean, this is tampos. These aren't stickers that are on here, so at least they didn't skim out on that budget. Although this is not a real Decepticon emblem. Take a look at that. It's obviously not real. But anyway, does not have rolling wheels. But does it have a robot mode? Sadly, not really. Only remnants of the robot mode is that a head thing sticking up in a chest. There are no pulling out arms. This does not pull down the fold in the feet. That's it. That's all you get. That's all you get. Yeah. There is Hook in his crane mode. Anyway, let's move on to Scavenger. Scavenger's an excavator. It's a excavator backhoe thingy. He's got his power-up fist of action, because the fists don't actually come off the set. It's all one big gigantic mobile piece. But that side, this does move up and down. This does not move at all. It's actually got a solid shovel, so there's really no shoveling. Maybe he can pummel things. Does he have a robot mode? There's your robot mode. Seriously,
That's his robot mode. I'm not kidding, guys. This is the robot mode. These feet don't move at all. They're there, but they don't do anything. But he does have his 360-degree rotating action. And the funny thing is, they actually did the purple windows on this one. They skimmed out on. Look over there. Which kind of sucks. This is tampoed. That's tampoed. The tampos aren't bad. I can't really complain. And honestly, the plastic quality on these things are not. It doesn't feel like that rubbery shampoo bottle plastic that you normally get. I do have some flashing going on back here, so I should trim it off. But anyway, here's your scavenger. Let's move on to Bone Crusher, which is the bulldozer. He's a bulldozer. That's what he does. He dozes. He's got his gigantic rocket punch of action. It's identical to that. Just takes off. There you go. There's Bone Crusher. He's got his nice little tampon going on there on both sides. And he does have a Decepticon wannabe emblem on top. This does not move. Legs don't do anything. He is literally a bulldozer. That is all he is. He does not do any transformation. This is all you get. He does have a head sculpt, which is really weird. But, see, I would have just preferred them just to leave that out. They should have just made them vehicles that turned into Devastator and didn't turn into anything else. But it would have worked better. What am I to say? I mean, I'm not the genius here. Yeah, he's a bulldozer. Let's get the those things. Anyhow, let's move on to Mixmaster, which is the cement truck. It's obviously carrying Devastator's gun, and it conveniently comes off. The gun's actually pretty well detailed. It's not too bad. It's actually got some pretty decent detail going on there. Anyway, Mixmaster. He's got a rotating barrel. I mean, he does this thing too. I guess that way he can go downhill, but it doesn't make any sense because you got this part sticking out. Anyway, yeah, there's no robot mode. It's another one of those torso head things that doesn't do anything. I mean, there's no way to really turn him into a robot. I mean, you can do that. Does this count as a robot? I don't know. Anyway, he's really cool. He doesn't have any rolling wheels, but the sculpting's actually pretty nice on this. Can't really complain about the sculpt. The sculpt is pretty good. I mean, they even picked out some of the wheel detail and everything, so it's not really that bad. It's kind of cool. Anyway, move him over there. He's broke back. We can start on the long haul, which is the dump truck, because he's good to dump things, right? He's got his gigantic waste cannon thingy here stuck on there, and it doesn't really click on, it just kind of sits there, but it does have the holes in the pegs, so why not? Anyway, long haul. It's a big dump truck. There's no tampoing on him at all. He does have rolling wheels here on the back, no rolling wheels on the front. So. And does he turn into a robot? Head sculpt, there's no nothing. I mean, there's just a little bit of detail here, which makes no sense. I don't even know why there's even detail there. I don't even, well, I mean, it's funny, because you look, there is a head. It's right there. Somebody made something up here. It's like, oh, look, that's the robot. Derp. Anyway, he is a dump truck. He does not have a tilting bed, sadly. Come on, it's a dump truck. Why couldn't they at least engineer the dumping bed? That would have been cool. But can't really complain. It is third party, after all. Anyway, moving on. Move him over there next to the construction yard. And let's look at the leader. Scrapper. Here's Scrapper! Scrapper in his, well, loader mode. I like to call these loaders.
Some people want to call these a digger, but it's a loader. That is what these things are called. They dig up the pile of dirt and move it. That's what they do. And they move it and they dump it into a truck. That is what a loader does. It loads things. Anyway, it's got these gigantic wings of death here on the back, which is obviously the chest plate for Devastator. He does have one tampo right there. And front wheels move. He does do this thing, which is more than most of them do. But does have a lot of decent detail done on it. Pretty cool. Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool! Yes, he is. Pretty cool. But anyway, that is Scrapper in his loader mode. So let's combine these things into, doesn't kind of doesn't pull down. It just doesn't do anything. It's all one big solid chunk of plastic here on the back. If you do that, you're gonna break it. So there's his dirt mode. Yeah. Let's construct this thing into Devastator. First thing I'm going to do is take this waste piece here, the waste piece, which is actually not too bad. They actually did the sticker, which is kind of weird. It's weird that they actually gave the Devastator mode stickers and tampos in. I don't know what these people have for a budget. They can have 35 cents for all I know. Anyhow, you plug this thing in just like so, just like the original, and you flip this portion down. It actually clicks down. It's kind of nice. And take old mix master here, pull him out, this up, and then stick this thing right here, just like so. I'm a foot. I got a foot. I didn't want to mention that this is a sticker on the front of that. It's weird. This is their budget, not a lot. Anyway, now this part here is kind of weird. It's got a little peg that sticks out on it. Peg right there sticks out, and then it's got this little thing here. Well, this actually has a little thing that sticks out that goes under this piece of plastic, and then you got to push the peg into the back of that. Then you flip up this foot, and then you obviously get these little arms down. Now I'm going to give you a word of warning. This does not stand up very well, just like the original Devastator. But there you go so far. And we're going to move into Hook. You take Hook here and split it in half, just like you always would. This thing, just like this. And I don't know what my brother is doing out there. Probably destroying the world. That's what he does. Anyway, take this head portion here and push it here on the back. It's got this big gigantic thing here sticking out, so you can bypass that. Stick it on there like that. And then you're going to take a long haul here and flip this thing backward. And then obviously plug it in just like you would the normal Devastator. He's getting a little tall there, isn't he? Then you take this guy, bone crusher, and you take his fist portion here. You gotta find the right one. Still, after years of doing these things, you gotta think I would get it right for once. Anyway, yeah, this plugs in just like it normally would into the little peg. Yep, forward slightly. And then you take this gigantic hole here and plug it onto this pin sticking out. Just like so. It's probably going to fall over. And then you're going to take this guy. And you're going to reach in here and flip out his little connection port. Think. Push this back. And then you're going to grab the other fist and plug it onto that, just like so. And for good measure, I always put the gun in its hands, that way it's easier to handle later. And then you put this into its little normal slot here on top that it's always had.
You think they would have, since they skimmed out on so much engineering, just made like a little plug hole, just like a little bone crusher there. I'm gonna flying around here because, you know, it's summertime and flies don't like to leave me alone. And this thing is just not going. Oh, there we go. Got it. Yay! All's well in the land of KOs and such. And you're down. Last but not least, you put the chest piece on. There's 3 holes on this, by the way, which is weird, but use that hole right there. And then he's got his obvious little thing that goes over. There you go! There is Devastator Mini Mode KO version. Yes. Just to give you guys a bit of scale, and I don't know if any of you guys happen to own this guy, but this is 6 Builder, which is the MicroMaster version of Devastator. It's actually the Star Convoy Battle Stars version. Yes, this is Japanese. But there you go. You can see he clearly fits in scale with them, which I really wish this guy actually did turn into robots now that you see that. Because to be honest, there's really no reason why it knock offs and such. Anyhow, I'm not going to bore you with this.
ダイアクロン隊に建設者ロボが完成。ブレインロボと共に地球を守れ。国者合体。行け建設者ロボ。戦えブレインロボ。ダイアクロン建設者ロボ。
Late 70s into the early 80s burst one of the coolest toys that has ever struck the market. I am talking about the Diaclone construction team. This set of construction vehicles has really burst an entire phenomenon throughout the past few years. Although most Transformer fans see this set as Devastator or the Constructicons, this entire set is completely awesome. The colors completely pop and are just different compared to what has ever been released throughout the entire line. The funny thing is, throughout the years there has been 2 different variants of this particular robot released. Although not every one of these guys have the hardest transformation, but it's a very familiar one to anybody who has owned a G1 or G2 Devastator. Although with my copy of the toy, I do not have the plastic base, the box, or the little cardboard beams. There was also a little bag of plastic crack, as a lot of us want to call it, but they look like little blue rocks for you to be able to play with the toys on the base of the little plastic construction site. The transformation is very familiar to anybody who has owned a G1 Devastator or G2. It's a real simple transformation, but the fitment of every joint tends to be better than what Hasbro released. This is where I think Hasbro and Takara kind of dropped the ball, especially with the molds just being reused as much as it has in the past few years. But this is just a bit of history to show you guys that the Diaclone Devastator is a gem amongst gems. There are a lot of toys out there in the years that have come out, but by far this is one of the gems that is the cream of the crop of something I own that's in my collection. Well, this has been Plasticon, and this has been yet another awesome review. I hope you guys enjoyed this, because there will be more stuff like this in the future to come. And this is me signing off.
Peace out, you guys.
The evil Constructicons, Decepticon vehicles built to destroy planet Earth. More than meets the eye, they're robots in disguise. And the Constructicons combine to form the dreaded Devastator for really big destruction. But the Constructicons unearth big trouble. The heroic Dinobots, Snarl, Slag, and Grimlock. These massive monsters transform into mighty robots. They'll blast those Decepticons into extinction. Transformers Generation 2, Dinobots and Constructicons.
The year is 1993, and Hasbro, coming out of the Diaclone and Generation 1 Transformers line, comes Generation 2 Devastator, also known as the Constructicons. This color is just absolutely awesome and really holds true to most of the modern construction vehicles, even to this day. Taking a look at Long Haul. Long Haul still holds his normal dump truck mode. But as you can see, you can arm him up even with some slight defense weapons within the bed of his truck mode. Transformation is absolutely identical to the Generation 1. There really are no tricks here. Although as you unfold this thing, you can absolutely tell that the colors are very cohesive, and it looks pretty cool with this lighter color of purple throughout the entire robot. Coming up is the leader of the group, Scrapper. Scrapper is a little backhoe or bulldozer, or if some people want to call him, a loader. This loading vehicle still has its articulated shovel and looks very, very nice. It is probably one of the cooler ones of the lot, considering his transformation is extremely simple. And he still looks pretty cool. The next one in the line comes Mixmaster. Mixmaster still retains his normal construction vehicle mode. This mixing truck looks very cool in these colors, even down to the chrome grille. Although as we start to transform this guy, it's clear that he is extremely simple, just like the Generation 1. Although he does no longer have the gimmick of firing the missile out of the front of his forehead, he still is an awesome robot. Next up is Scavenger. Scavenger, being an excavator, is a very, very neat looking backhoe. A lot of people tend to not really like this guy much because of his problems of standing, but he is still one of the coolest ones of the line, especially with his purple jetted through his entire rear bottom torso. This one coming into the line is Bone Crusher. He is a little bitty bulldozer. Although he is yellow and looks kind of crazy, this thing is pretty neat. It still has an articulated shovel, which is kind of nice. But when you get done taking off all the weaponry and transform this guy, it is clear that he is one of the coolest of the entire lot. Last, but definitely not least, comes Hook. Hook is a very, very interesting crane. His crane mode works very well, although a lot of people tend to shy away from this entire set on account of this guy, because his legs tend to get busted, and sometimes he does get broken in half. But he is all in all a very, very nice looking robot, especially after you get done transforming him from his alt mode. But as you can see, the entire group looks awesome together. This band of construction vehicles and construction robots really has a cohesive coloring system here. It really does look nice, and it doesn't really deter from what they're trying to get across with these guys. But enough of their individual robot modes. Let's go into combination mode. Combination mode is very easy. You're mainly transforming every single solitary one back into their alternate modes. Apart from Long Haul, which you break in half, and the same with Hook, everything else primarily is a vehicle. Although Mixmaster pretty much gets broken in half and the front of the cab slams forward, it really shows how dedicated some of these guys are to pulling off their alternate forms to construct the mighty Devastator. Once you have Devastator completely put together, and then you arm him up, even with his crazy ear gun, which is a remnant of the Diaclone line, it really shows that he is a really cool robot, and really does pull off a nice looking mode. But when you start measuring him up to the rest of the robots, it is clear that he does fit in with your entire Generation 2 line. Although he has never had a Scramble City format, he still fits in very well with the entire line. So I hope you guys go out there and you rush out to the eBays or the iOffers or any other place out there that you can snag one of these purebred Generation 2 figures. They're very good, and I highly suggest you guys do not pass them up. Well, this has been Plasticon, and this has been yet another awesome Generation 2 review. You guys stay tuned, because I have plenty more on the table, and in the bins, and on the shelves to bring at you. Peace out, you guys. As the Autobots start helping out with repairs in Chicago, things are going smoothly. As Optimus Prime checks in along with Bumblebee to see how their progress is going. Suddenly, their progress is interrupted by Devastator. Devastator starts having his way with the entire that's trying to rebuild this poor city. As Optimus Prime looms into the viewfinder, seeing what is going on, he calls on the train bots. When the train bots arrive, they begin to transform and turn into Raiden. Raiden looks down at Optimus, and Optimus looks up and says, "Go and take care of Devastator before the city is destroyed." As Devastator looms and destroys the city, Raiden just steps into his way. As Raiden scowls at Devastator, the battle is about to commence. The fate of Chicago is in your hands. Generation 2 Transformers, brought to you by Hasbro. Some assembly required, vehicles and figures sold separately. Welcome back to yet another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover the Generation 2 Orange version, also known as KB exclusive or UK Toys, the Orange Devastator. This entire group of awesome Constructicons are so cool. Probably the best looking deco in the entire line as far as I am concerned. This entire set will make your eyes bleed, but make them bleed in a very, 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 very good way. So let's get on to looking at the first bot, shall we? Taking a closer look at Scrapper here. Scrapper is awesome. I love this color. This color is just phenomenal. There's a lot of people out there who really hate on like the fact that Generation 2 has like the screaming in its colors, but seriously, what is cooler than a like safety orange? Like this is like literally what you'd see in a real construction vehicle. But anyway, let's get on to that what we call transformation. Hey guys, it's Scrapper, because Scrapper's awesome. And he is a loader. I love this guy. This guy really, really kind of tells you what G1 was really all about. I mean, you did have a bit of a... I mean, he does have a knee joint there. And these things... Oh, I love these things. These actually click into place because it's just... It's beautiful. It's awesome. I love this. Because, come on, man. Who doesn't like him? Seriously. I love this, just these colors and the stickers. It really harks just an awesome looking robot. I do love this head sculpt. This head sculpt is badass. I'm sorry, it is. Because it's G2 and it's awesome and it's orange and it's purple and it's a Decepticon and yes. Moving on. At the excavator, Scavenger. Oh my god, this guy is cool. I love how this excavator is. This excavator is really, really awesome. I mean, it's got this nice little articulated bucket that moves back and forth, and he does have very, very, very soft ratcheting. Like, very soft. Most people that actually have a Devastator, they normally don't even feel that ratcheting anymore because it's so worn out. This guy's superb. He's beautiful. It's an excavator. I mean, a backhoe or whatever you want to call it. Because, you know, that's really what it's called. It's an excavator. I mean, look at that orange. That purple. That purple. Look at that purple. Purple, purple, purple. Come on. What do you expect? Look at Scavenger.
Scavenger's really interesting. I like this robot. I have always enjoyed this robot, and there's a lot of people out there who really hate on this one, but I don't know why. I mean, I like the stinger tail kind of thing going on here, although it'd be better, you know, if it rotated. But I mean, I guess if you rotate it, then he would be upside down. It'd be kind of weird. But look at that. Look at those eyes. Ooh, look at that. Whoa. It's the reflection off just the orange and everything. That's the silver reflecting off the orange. It gives him all those orange eyes. Look at that. Ooh, I love it. He just has a really nice looking robot mode though. I mean, always has. Yes, he likes to fall over. That's why he's got the little stinger tail that you put down the bottom. And then, you know, kind of just gets out of the way. But he's not a bad robot. I like him a lot. Let's move on. Oh. Taking a closer look at Long Haul. Long Haul is awesome. These colors are just superb. The colors on this guy is just awesome. I mean, I love the idea that, you know, it has a little bit of purple, just a teeny tiny hint of purple. Not a lot. But this Screaming Safety Orange just works so well with construction vehicles. This is the colors they really should have came out in. I mean, yeah, green is cool. Yellow is awesome, but come on. Who cannot deny that? How awesome this orange is. I mean, this sculpting, oh my god, it's Devastator. I mean, it's just the Constructicons. What do you expect? It's like the coolest thing in the world, and, you know, his dump bed kind of works. But, I mean, come on. That's what Long Haul is, right? A dump truck. So, let's go on to that transformation thingy. Awesome. Got these little bucket legs. Actually does have knee articulation. He's got a bit of wrist articulation, if you want to call this inward thing he does with his wrists. Articulation. I mean, everybody knows how it works, so, you know. Look at that head sculpt. Oh my god, look at that head sculpt. Look. He's got the visor of doom! I love him. He's awesome. He really is cool. He actually doesn't have, well, I guess you can consider this here a backpack, but you can also consider it a hat if you want. I mean, come on. Who cares? It's Long Haul. He hauls stuff. He doesn't care, because he's the big brute of the group. Yep. Let's move on. Taking a closer look at Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher is cool. Yes, there's not so much purple sticking out on this, but it's not bad. Still has his little gimmick where he can move his little dozer portion here up and down, and this whole cab section here moves back and forth. The only thing I really could actually complain about, you know, on any of these guys I've ever had, is just, I kind of wish this actually had like a ratcheting thing, so that way this would actually stay up. But I mean, I've seen them where they actually had adjustable things where they would drag it all the way down so they could barely even see, because they're trying to keep rain from going in their faces. They're trying to do their thing out in the, you know, the construction environment. I just love this. This is so cool. I mean, G2, seriously, at its finest. Who can't resist this orange? This Bone Crusher in his robot mode. Really interesting. I actually like how he is. He's got a little more articulation than the rest of them, which is really cool. And he does have this little thing here that kind of comes up and gives you a little bit of techie detail here on the back, along with his chest piece, and it's just awesome. And who doesn't like that? Because I mean, come on, G2, I love it. It's so cool. I actually like how flat he is. I mean, look at that. He really has a nice stance. I mean, he's not bad. Although some people really don't like him because of his big bucket chest, but hey, I dig the bucket chest. The bucket chest is cool. It's got a lot of deco. I mean, look at the sticker. Whoa! Looking at Hook. Oh my god. Awesome crane. Really, really, really cool crane. This, like, just so much, like, chrome and purple and retracting thing here with the metal hook on the end. You can't
deny this. I mean, who does not like Hook? I mean, seriously. Awesome little crane. Such a cool little thing. You know, when it comes to looking at the Constructicons, I mean, I had a couple of them when I was a kid. I didn't have the full set. I was never able to build Devastator. But I had Hook because I liked cranes. And, you know, I had Scavenger because, not Scavenger, but Scrapper because he's a loader. My dad used to work on loaders, so it was kind of like a thing. But, you know, that's what they do. Yes! I mean, look at this. Woo! Who doesn't like rolling car, trucks, and awesome G2-ness? Hook in his robot mode, I absolutely love this guy. This guy is so cool. He is really a superb piece. The chrome is just so... Look how screaming that chrome is. I mean, wow, what a glare. He is just beautiful. I love how the robot looks. Although he does have a bit of a shortcoming with his backpack. You know, you kind of have to just muck around with it back here to make him kind of stand up sometimes because he likes to be a little bit back heavy. But he is a really, really cool piece. I do like him a lot. I love all the sticker detail he's got. And that head sculpt, I mean, who doesn't like that head sculpt? Seriously? I mean, look at that. Look at that head sculpt. Oh my god, this is just what Transformers is all about here, guys. I mean, seriously. I love the colors. The colors is just so awesome on him. Now, if you guys are wondering, with the purple hue, this purple is a little closer to the original purple. That's what's weird. It's like slightly lighter, but not by much. The G2 yellow one has got a little different kind of hue, so it's kind of weird because all three kind of almost have a different hue to them. Sadly, I don't have my G1 anymore, but I do still have my G2. Other one, yeah, the yellow one. Yes, I didn't get rid of it, but you know, let's move on to a different one. Woo! Looking at Mixmaster, oh my god, this is just the coolest looking truck ever with the purple windows and the orange and the gray. Look at look at how glossy that is. Look at that. Woo! Gotta love that chrome. I just love this guy. This guy's awesome. Does have a spinning barrel, that's what they do. But they are really cool because they are G2 and they are very orange. And they are very awesome! Yes, I love Mixmaster. Mixmaster is cool. I like trucks. I just kind of have a thing for trucks. But, you know, yeah, construction vehicles too. Woo! Also look at Mixmaster. Ooh, Mixmaster. The truck. And he is like a big block of awesome. I've always loved this guy. I mean, there's just something about his like aesthetic. He looks like a stoic, iconic, retro robot from the past. Kind of future. I don't know. Retro future? Yeah. But he's awesome because he's in G2 colors. And oh my god, I love this thing. I love this orange. Can't get over it, man. It's cool. It's awesome. Why? Because it's Mixmaster. And, you know, he's got a launching gimmick up here, too. Just don't have his guns out, or his missile out. And the only thing I can say is, anytime you get these guys, kind of watch this sticker. This sticker right here will just rub off because of Devastator. Nothing you can do about it. Anyhow, moving on. Woo!
taking a look at Devastator in his full, awesome orange and purple glory. This is what G2 is all about. Although the yellow is cool, I think this orange is so much better. Oh my god, such a cool robot. If you guys even have the opportunity out there to acquire one of these, get you one, because these guys are awesome and they are so cool, and oh my god, it's just like, it's freaking Devastator, man. Now, the cool thing about mine doesn't really like to fall apart. The only thing I can say is, he's a bit trigger finger happy. These do like to pop loose like pretty quick, but it still works and it's awesome and it's cool because it's Devastator. You know what? I don't care because Devastator can have a hair trigger if he wants to. Because, hey, construction robots of destruction. Destruction? I guess. I don't know. Anyway.
Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover an unboxing and, overview of one of the first of the entire line of Devastator. This is Scavenger, one of the Constructicons from the 1986 Studio Series line. Looking at the box, I love the box art. Box art's pretty cool. I don't mind that at all. One thing I really have kind of wondered is, why are there Autobot emblems on every one of them? There's no Decepticon emblem on this box other than the artwork. And then there's a picture of Devastator on the side. This is number 4 of 5, and from what I've been told, these numbers are all don't even really mean anything because it's 4 of 5. There's 6 of them, not 5. So take this with a grain of salt. Sometimes I think Hasbro's really had issues lately when it comes to some of the box stuff. Right here it says, Scavenger combines with other Constructicons to form Devastator. Wow, that's a heck of a bio, isn't it? Anyway, it does have this nice piece of artwork here on the, from one of the scenes in the movie where Sludge gets thrown into slag from Devastator, which is funny. Should be the frame where Devastator smashes Slug, where he's got his eyeballs popping out, which is hilarious. Anyway, bit of a Scavenger here on the back, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the box. Box quality obviously is pretty good. I can't complain about the box quality at all. It does say Takara Tomy on here, so obviously these are still, more or less a universal thing. But, take one nice little pocket knife out here, and we're going to open this guy up. Like I said, I have not had any experience with these. I did own the Combiner Wars one. No, I did not get around to ever reviewing it. Life got in the way many times, and I never did get a chance to actually review it. But from my opinion, because I had the American release, I didn't have the Unite Warriors one, it was okay. The Unite Warriors one just added a little extra articulation and the guns to each one of the bots, which I think is cool. But to be honest, the set wasn't terrible. There's a lot of people out there that complained about, oh, well, I don't like how this sets, I don't like how this looks, and then some people actually like it over this version. So there's a lot of caveats to be had. Obviously, we got our nice little booklet here with our piece of paper here with safety instructions, don't eat anything in this box kind of thing. But, we got your instruction manual. At least they decided to put Decepticon stuff on the instruction manual. At least come on, Hasbro. Do the box too. Most people buy these things that buy 2 or 3 of these. Sometimes people want them in the box. And here we go again with the paper burrito that's Autobot. This makes no sense. Looking at him before he's out of the crate, though, he's kind of cool looking. I'm glad we put recycling information here on the inside on the art, you know, because, you know, that's always more important than anything else. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be too hard to get out of this. So, take my box cutter here out and cut these here loose. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Combiner Wars Scavenger actually needed to be assembled out of box. Trying to remember if that's how that worked. It's been a long time since I actually had that toy in hand. I did get rid of it probably about 3 years ago or something like that. Mainly because I was downsizing my collection, and you know, I personally like G2 Devastator better anyway because he's smaller. I like my smaller bots. I don't like large ones that much. But since my buddy has let me borrow these and check these out, show you guys my opinion of these. Yeah, I'm not ragging on these at all. I think they're pretty neat. I did like that Perceptor a lot. If you guys haven't seen that review, go back and watch it. The Perceptor's pretty cool. I love all the Microman, Micronaut references in that toy. I'm a huge fan of Diaclone and Micronauts as well, so it's one of those things. It's hard for me to separate myself from the stuff that I really thought was cool. You guys know me, I am a huge Generation 2 guy, but when it comes to like the original Transformers and such, I really kind of go back to the roots of it. I don't know, it just appeals to me better. Okay, we got him out of his crate. I hate these things. I just, if there's something I think that's a microplastic that needs to be gone away with, it's plastic ties. Just go to paper ones or use the metal ones, because at least you can reuse those to tie up wires or whatever. These are just absolutely worthless. Once you cut them, they're just trash. You can't do anything with them. Just not a fan of that. Alright, so I'm going to gently try to get this burrito loose from this without ripping up the artwork. But you know, at least the artwork here has Autobot and Decepticon on the artwork. For the background piece, that's cool. I still think it's weird that they have a huge Autobot emblem on the box itself. Can somebody please explain to me why they're doing that other than just being cheap? Or just lazy? I don't know. But anyway, I'm wrapping the burrito here. Get out this little pew-pew gun, which is actually kind of cool. It's kind of nice. It's actually really decent. The plastic quality so far I can feel on all this one here so far. Feels pretty good. Let's take a look at him. See if I can get this. Oh, this looks pretty simple because it looks like just a 5mm port. And it plugs directly into this arm piece here. How am I struggling putting a 5mm port together? I don't know. It's been a very long last month for me, so I guess I have to bear with me on that. I do like the idea that this compact's pretty good on his back. It's not bad. Yeah, he's kind of cool. Doesn't really have any like crazy arm extension things going on. Let's go ahead and give him his pew-pew gun. Yeah, I think he's pretty neat looking. Not bad. This is a very kind of palish green, which comparing that green to an original Mixmaster. Yeah, that's pretty close. This is slightly lighter than this, but not by much. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I don't mind that. And that's one thing I was always curious of. And The Combiner Wars one was, it seemed like it was a little more lighter green, almost a neon, which is cool. But yeah, it looks like your standard articulation, you know, that everybody else has been getting. So not bad. It's got his little ankle tilts. So pretty cool. These actually kind of click into position, which is nice. So if you're trying to get him to hold a certain position, you don't have to worry about his leg buckling. So let's see if I can put him in a cool pose here. You know, yeah, not bad, not bad. It's not too bad. I like the posability of him is not terrible. Not terrible at all. I do like that. Does have thigh swivel, you know. Can pretty much do the Van Damme, looks like. So, you know, not bad. It's not very hollow on the inside too, which is kind of nice. He does have a little bit of hollow bits here, but to be honest, it's not even that bad. If you guys are really that complaining, I'm sure somebody out there is going to have a DNA kit or some kind of upgrade kit for that part in particular. But yeah, he's definitely pretty neat. I do like him. I can tell if these are painted, so you might end up having paint scuffs over the years because it is purple underneath. I think it's really strange that they molded these in purple. I don't know why they would do that. I mean, when they could just be green. Strange decisions when it comes to toy engineering, let me tell you, especially when it comes to putting stuff on a sprue. Now let's see if I can figure out how to transform this without looking at instructions. This is the whole key thing to a lot of these videos I've been doing lately, is do I have to break out the instructions to figure it out? Receptor, I didn't even have to do that with, so let's see. If this guy does anything like Combiner Wars, he ain't going to be too terrible. And from what I've been told, these guys pretty much are just like an upgraded version of those. But it doesn't look like it's going to be that hard to figure out how to put him in his alt mode. Let's see. Let's move. So this, obviously, is going to have to go... Well, this whole thing is supposed to flip up, so how is this going to get out of the way for the... Okay, so I see what it's doing there. It catches back here. It's got a little catch. I probably need to move the waist out. Does this disconnect here? It's got a swivel here or something. Okay. This flips up, it flips away. Okay, that's kind of standard type of thing. This looks like this disconnects here, maybe? This doesn't have a waist swivel, I'm noticing. Maybe it does, and I just didn't notice it. Oh, we're gonna figure it out, though. Like I said, these are not mine, so I'm not going to be really that forceful with them. Oh, yeah, took away his fist. What are you doing, Jason? It's Plasticon struggling with modern transformations again. Here we go. That's what I do. That is what I do. You don't like that on this channel? I'm sorry. Some people are like, oh, you do this, do you watch him go do it? Yes, I have seen him go do it. I didn't go back and rewatch all of his videos because I like having my own experience with things too. Part of the joy of, oh, okay, that's what we do. We'll flip this up. I'll flip that little thing. It's weird because this used to be like a thing that flipped out downward. Now you got this thing that flips upward. Are we sticking with a traditional weird thing here on Scavenger, I guess? I don't know. Anyway, what I was saying is I like to experience my own feel for these because when it comes to modern toys, I should be able to figure it out. I shouldn't have to go look at a guide every time Okay, that looks like that plugs in just like so. This should plug in further than that. Yeah, I shouldn't have to always go and look at someone's video or break out an instruction manual every time. That's an awfully tight fit. I don't like how that's doing that. I'm not going to try to force it. I don't want to break nothing. But, yeah. Alright, so these look like they close up. It looks like I just... Does this do a... Okay, yeah. Alright, that's pretty simple. Anyway, I like to experience things. Because my thing is, if I can experience the toy and actually give you my real opinion, that's better off. It doesn't actually have little rolling wheels underneath, though. As long as I'm not picking them. Yeah, that's okay. I'm not going to be too crazy with it. Looks like you can take his little gun and actually peg it on there. See, the original had, if I'm not mistaken, I think this actually pegged onto the cap. Can't remember. I'd have to go and grab my other set out of the room, but I don't want to deal with that right now. It does have an actual working bucket, which is cool. I do like the idea that the excavator actually does that. The only thing I wished he did was spin around. That's the only thing he doesn't do. Kind of reminds me of Energon. What was it? Energon Grimlock that did that kind of thing, or didn't actually spin, but he was pretty big. There we go. Trying to straighten him out. Like I said, I had the Combiner Wars version, and this is a little smaller than the Combiner Wars one, I have to say that. The only thing I'm noticing is this doesn't want to completely recess in there, and I don't know if that's just because the pin isn't pushed in all the way or what there is. I just don't want to force nothing there, because like I said, this belongs to a friend of mine, and I'm not going to break his toys trying to perfect things. Not bad. Like the vehicle mode. It's not terrible. My thing is, how's this combined with the incombinable? I don't know yet. I haven't been able to figure that out yet because I haven't gotten there yet. Yay! Foreshadow there. It's probably going to take me a while for putting it completely together. Hand feel? This thing is solid. This feels like something I can play with out in the dirt. Seriously. Like if I was going to play around in a sandbox, perfect. The detail is very, very good. It's weird that he's got this swinging thing like this because excavators don't have that kind of articulation. Usually it's only up and down like this, and then the whole thing has a swing around because they don't have this kind of thing. This may have a little bit of side to side here, but it usually is never here in the elbow area because this is like a strength beam, so that way it doesn't just collapse. So, yeah. And usually there's another joint here too that can sometimes bend there as well. That's why there's a large piston there. Would have been cool to see a piston come in and out here. That would have been nice to, not the piston, but the hydraulic. All the pneumatics. There's a pneumatic here as well. Would have been cool to see those move, but hey, this is a budgeted toy. That's what they're going for. And honestly, I cannot complain. He's pretty cool. I'm probably just going to leave him in vehicle mode because I got to do this thing, try to put him in Devastator mode. So it'd probably be easier for me to go from vehicle mode to whatever it is. But anyway, my overall thoughts, he's awesome. Go get these guys. They're nice, especially if you don't have a Devastator. They're very cool. Kind of a size comparison with the original. So, yeah. I know I do not have an original one of these. Like I said, I got G2 stuff, but I'm not going to go break out my orange Devastator just to do that, or go get Tonkinator. They're put together, sitting on my shelf, all nice and pretty, so I don't want to do that. But I have this guy handy all the time, so that's why you see him a lot in the thing. Let's see if... can and Merman stand on him. It's kind of funny because he's got this little like nub sticking off, which I think is supposed to be a smokestack, but he doesn't really like stick on there, but it's kind of funny. You can have Merman staying in the back and just riding around. What do y'all expect? This is the nonsense you get on this channel sometimes. Can I actually... Will this actually plug in sideways here? No, that's not a 5mm port. I just think this is just a... just supposed to be like a little tiny... from the... throwing the gun. Tiny little smokestack from the engine. Because the engine on excavators, if you don't know it, is actually back here. It's in the back area. That's where all the vents and such are. Which, like I said, they did a very good job with the detail. Like, a lot of greeblies in there. I like that. It's cool. Kind of wish this Decepticon emblem was a little bigger than this tiny little one here. It is the silver-backed version, so at least they did go the extra mile there. And honestly, the cab detail's pretty good. Like, that's literally a windshield wiper. That's cool. I like how they even did a little bit of detail around that, so they did a good job on this guy, I admit that. So we'll end up seeing what the other ones look like. But anyway, welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover 1986 Bone Crusher from the Constructicons. It forms Devastator, because, you know, it's probably what all their, oh wait, no, he does die. He's got a different bio on him. Literally says, Bone Crusher battles the Autobots in Autobot City on Earth. Ooh. Wow, I didn't know that. It's the same artwork, though. This is the same. As on Scavenger's box. That's his 206. 205. Like, seriously. Just a little bit of Sharpie would have made that a 6. Look how close that is. Oh, Hasbro. You guys are really something else lately. Anyway, because you don't use an Autobot. I'm kidding. I still don't understand this. Somebody point this out and tell me why they have Autobot emblems on it. Well, it's strange. I do like the artwork here of Bone Crusher. Looks pretty cool. Would have been nice to get more artwork of Bone Crusher other than just that. I mean, this is cool, but this is something you put on the back of the box or something. I don't know. The cross-sell stuff. Wanted to, you know, cover Mr. Green Pajamas here. Because, yeah, he's pretty much the only one that's literally like, I don't know, it looks like he's wearing a strange pajama thing. You guys are new to this series. This is the first time I've even touched this. These are all brand new. These belong to a friend of mine, and he let me check them out, and that's what I'm doing. I have in the past owned Combiner Wars Devastator, so I do know what that toy is like. And you guys know me, I have the G2 versions. I actually used to have full G1 with expansion parts and all that stuff. It's kind of funny how they got his feet all transformed like this. Nothing really on the back sticking out. That's kind of interesting. Doesn't look like you gotta do much here to complete him. Does have this weird Autobot burrito going on here. If it was Emgo, it'd be pizza bagels, but you know, this is an Emgo's channel. Nothing against Emgo. I like Emgo. I listen to him all the time. And yes, I have watched Emgo's reviews of every one of these. I have checked out reviews of everybody else, but this is my own personal opinion on this stuff, and I like to, you know, see what these are like in hand. Tell them clearly opening him up. He's the first time he's ever been opened. Cool thing is, my buddy's gonna be like, hey, just, you know, bring over Devastator just by himself. All combined. So, let's see if I can fix his feet here real quick and get him to stand up. And then we'll break open the burrito. I just don't like these things. Like, if you're gonna put these kind of things in a box, I mean, if you look, most of these, they set them in the box and there's plenty of room in the back. They could have just stuck his accessories behind this and not attached with paper on the front. Which, I mean, I don't know who's really keeping the paper to these. Like, I don't, it's a strange thing right now. I mean, I did not like the way they had the previous packaging where it was all open, where you can handle the toy and, you know, for the amount of money they were asking for that stuff, and then turn around and people doing the head pop off thing and all that silly TikTok trend and all that garbage. Not a fan of that stuff, never have been. But yeah, I'm just trying to see what I can do here to get this out without ripping this paper completely to shreds. That. And we got his little pistol. Because he's a pistol. Yeah. I know, bad joke. Don't care. It was funny. Speaking of pistols, if you guys have been watching my little shorts, we actually got a G1 Megatron in the shop the other day. His arm was not attached. All it was a screw that was missing, and I fixed it. So, yay! Full 100% complete. Well, minus the box, instructions, all that stuff, but the toy itself, 100% complete. Megatron. These things are getting harder to find nowadays, let me tell you. Alright, so I'll figure out where's this silly thing go. Alright, does it just slide in this way or does it slide in this way? Which direction does this silly thing slide in? I would assume it probably goes this way. I don't know. I am looking at this. Okay, yeah, I see. It has to go on this way. There we go. He's got his little backpack. Push down his little umbrella. Take a look at his little gun here. It's not bad. Pretty good. I'm actually glad these guys come with the little pistols. It's one thing I really thought was lacking on Combiner Wars American, the American release, was the little smaller weapons. Would have been nice. And, you know, when he gets into the arm articulation and whatever, it's not terrible. It's kind of cool. It's got a waist swivel here with a weird... No, we're not going to talk about whatever that looks like. Assuming that's probably more or less for Devastator mode. Yeah, standard articulation. I don't mind the idea these are ball joints. I like the idea those are ball joints. Although he does have a pinned joint here, which is interesting. I'm assuming that's probably for transformation. He's got his little head here. It just swivels back and forth. It's not really on a ball joint. It probably is a ball joint down in there. It's just not, you know, crazy or anything. He's got the whole locking knee thing like Scavenger. Nice. Got that nice click. Do the full Van Damme. Yee! And he's got his little ankle tilts like everybody wants. Because, you know, you gotta have every robot be able to, you know, break their ankle. Kidding. And that thigh swivel that everybody likes. So that way you can kind of get him in a natural stance. Posability is not terrible. I can actually enjoy transform this guy. Now everybody kind of doesn't like him as much because of how much green he's got, but I understand why he's got as much green as he does, because I mean, come on, he turns into a bulldozer. The original toy was that way too. If you guys want to know color wise, the greens are pretty close. This is slightly darker than this, but not by much. You got to think this is also older, so this could have discolored throughout the years, but I think it's pretty close to being okay. But he's not that lime color like the Combiner Wars one. That one I know a lot of people didn't like because the color was a little too much. I don't think he's too bad. I think he's kind of cool. Now, I'm going to do the daunting task of trying to figure out how to transform this thing. I'm assuming this is for combined mode, so that's probably not going to be that useful. I'm trying to look at his parts here to see how this works. This is obviously a thing. Oh, okay. Oh, well, he's got a ab crunch, I guess. I think this is more or less for transformation. Okay, so let's see here. How does this work? Okay, so this whole thing does... Oh, okay. So that's like the front of the bulldozer. These look like they fold in. How does this work? Does it do this? Does this actually... No? Okay. Well, I'm trying to figure it out here, guys, so just have to be patient with me because that is what I'm doing. I am doing these things from, you know, just looking at him. Obviously, his head tucks away like that. Because I am not trying to rush anything here. I'm trying not to break a toy. Because these do not belong to me, belong to a friend of mine. They spin around or something like this. Maybe? Okay, yeah, that's what it looks like it does. Like I said, I had watched MGo's reviews a lot of these a while back, so I have to admit the joint tolerance is tight on some of these. Oh, okay, there we go. I don't mind the fact that the joint tolerance is tight, but I mean, you gotta think this is straight out of the box, so it's probably gonna work itself loose after a few transformations. Okay, how does this go together? Let's see. I have to force this forward. Okay, alright, cool. Things like that. And then this looks like this plugs in between. There we go. And fold these up. And then this looks like it goes back underneath to kind of help put together the suspension to it. Talking like it's a mechanic or something. I mean, technically I am. I've done mechanic work before for many different things. Here we go. Yeah, bone crusher in his bulldozer mode. That wasn't too terrible. It's got his little canopy here that can move back and forth, which the original had that. This kind of moves up and down, which is nice. Looks like I can move it up to here if I needed it to stay up here. And it can move down here, so I can like push things, because that's what bulldozers do. It has two little things here, so that way you can plug his little PPU in. I do know these are 5mm, or sorry, blast effect compatible. That's what I want to say. Very cool. If you had a Microman, you might, well, you probably, if you took the head, spun it around backward, you might be able to get a Diaclone driver to set in there. Let me see if I can do that. nice little tray of awesome. Yes, it's mainly my drivers and my GoBot guns, and then some of my blast effects. Oh, my Energon cubes. Because I have Energon cubes too. Will this guy actually fit? Because if he does, that'd be awesome. Can I actually fit a Diaclone driver in here? Oh, holy cow. It works. There you guys go. Diaclone pilots can actually fit in this. By the way, this wouldn't actually be out of scale either, because a lot of heavy equipment was always different size, so this would actually work really well. That's great that he fits. I fits, I sits. Pretty awesome. Although you do have his head just sticking out of the back like that, but hey, you know, it's an option. And if you don't really want to do that, you can obviously do it the boring way, as I like to call it. I mean, could you set a Microman on top, or Diaclone driver on top, and do this? Not really. This kind of hits his head. The camera's way too far down. I'm having too much fun playing with the toy. Very cool. I didn't check this though. Can I, if this was up out of the way, looks like it just pops on. That's just friction, isn't it? I think it is. Can I actually fit a driver here? Kind of. I mean, the cab is obviously in the way. I mean, you can pull the cab off, I guess. But, yeah. Kind of funny. Having fun with Devastator. That's what we're doing here. But anyway, let's see these two next to each other. There you go. Very neat. He is next to Merman. Because Merman's superior. And next to G1 Bone Crusher. He does happen to have, or not Bone Crusher, but Mixmaster, sorry. Because we're covering Bone Crusher here. Does have that nice silver-backed Decepticon emblem, which I like the fact that it's larger here. It would have been cool to see one on top here. But this is all small. I kind of really wish that would have been like back here or something. I don't know. Or, I don't know. Here on the side. Could have put a bigger one there. That's just me nitpicking. Is he cool? Yes. Can we go buy him? Yes, go buy him. He's neat. Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover another one of the Constructicons. This is Mixmaster, obviously. Here he is in his box, and if you guys haven't watched this before, I am pretty much handling these for the very first time. I used to have the Combiner Wars ones, and you know, they were kind of cool. Somebody explain to me why there's an Autobot emblem on a Decepticon. Doesn't make sense. There is a Decepticon emblem right there. That's the only picture you really get of him being a Decepticon at all on this box. And he's number 5 of 5 again. Jeez. Don't even get me started on these boxes. They're kind of crazy. Let's see what his bio says. It says, Mixmaster combines with other Constructicons to form Devastator. Real original. That's exactly what Scavenger says. Except for it says Scavenger, not Mixmaster. There's your cross-sell. Like, not cross-sell. There's no cross-sells anymore. Sorry. Your, obligatory product shot. And the same picture that he's had on every one of them. I mean, this is cool that this is like uniform, but come on. Getting a little lazy here, Hasbro. Anyway, like I said, I've never opened these before. I have had the Combiner Wars, and Combiner Wars was pretty cool. I didn't mind it. And yeah, I'm gonna dig into the box here and see what it's like. And try to angle my camera down a little bit this time. Bone crusher, I think I was a little too far down on that. I'm sorry about that, guys. Like I said, these are on loan from a friend of mine. He let me check these out because I really like my. I like Transformers a lot, but I just don't collect the large new stuff. But hey, look, they actually managed to put him as a Decepticon on the instructions. Good job, Hasbro. I feel like I'm patting a kid on the back. Anyway, it's kind of interesting that he doesn't have a burrito, but he does have his tank. There's a little mixing drum and his gun right here. The gun looks like I can just slide it out without even clipping the thing. Maybe. Can I slide it out? No. Yes. No. Am I going to actually have to cut that? Probably. No. Can I make a game out of this right now? Hey, I got it. I didn't have to cut the thing loose to take that out. Can I, no. I don't think I can do that with the mixing drum. Maybe. Gonna try it with the mixing drum. Can I do this and pull it loose without having to cut the plastic straps? By the way, I do not like the plastic straps. I managed to get it out there, by the way. As for him, I'm definitely going to have to cut these because he's got right here. If you guys want to know, I am not a fan of these plastic straps. I wish they go back to the paper ones or the metal ones that they had or had a little plastic wrapped around them. At least you could reuse those for something. These are not useful. These are a pain in the keister, and they just litter the environment. I want to talk about waste of materials. Just got one more here because he's attached. His hat's attached. There we go. Got him out of his crate. Yeah, I know, it took me 5 minutes to get this far. Sorry, guys. I'm taking my time. I'm having fun with this. Hope you guys are too. I like to actually experience the toy in its raw form. Considering I used to own the Empire Wars ones, it's nice to actually get a chance to mess with this set to see how they compare. I do no longer own the Combiner Wars one. It's like this splits in half. There we go. How's this mixing drum attach? Does it attach this way? No. So it goes one way and that's it. That's good. I'm actually glad that's how that works. Because I've seen a lot of mix masters in the past that actually had the mixing drums put on backward. Talking like the G1 style one. Well, he's not bad. Does he do on the little teapot? Yep. Because it's the ankle joint. Yep, because he's a teapot. These arms don't go up very far though. Anyway. Take a good look at him. I do like him. One thing is, I kind of wish these here were painted silver, because he usually had like a gun or a missile launcher here in the top. Would have been kind of cool to see that. He's, got pretty much standard, sort of standard articulation. Considering what he has to do, can't really complain. He's got a good knee bend on him. He's got his ankle tilts, which is the most important thing. And he's got rolling wheels. It's nice that these actually close down far enough that the wheels don't cause him to, like, fall over. Although, I guess you can... Well, can you? No, I guess not. I think these are for combined mode or something. Yeah, kind of funny. I thought there for a second I could do like roller skating with him, but I guess not. His head's recessed in there, but not terrible. Doesn't have really bad accessibility. It is on a ball joint though, notice that. At least this is on a ball joint, unlike the other two. Not bad. Let's see if I can turn him into a truck now. Yeah, he does have his thigh swivels, by the way, for those people that want to know. It looks like this just plugs together. Does this transform anything like the original? Probably not. And that is another thing I'm doing on this channel, is I'm actually experiencing the toy for the first time, so I am actually testing to see how hard these are to transform without instructions, because I don't know, I like being able to experience the toy itself without all that. Okay, I guess those right there can be feet. If you wanted to give him extra large feet, you could. I mean, that doesn't take away from anything. I mean, that does give him really good stability, although I don't think these are supposed to be out for this mode, but yeah, maybe they are. I don't know. It's like these fold up. Anyway, we're turning you into a truck. We're not keeping you as a robot. Let's see here. I have watched other people review these, and it's been a little while since I've watched them, so it's kind of nice to be able to play with these without a biased opinion or anything like that. Let's see. Guess those just plug in like that. Does this actually cover it? Okay, cool. We have a plate here that actually covers his face. That's nice. That's kind of a cool little touch. And okay. So you have to bend his legs like this. I guess. That doesn't look right. It's the most derpy looking thing ever. Yeah, that's correct. I don't think that is correct, because it looks like these actually hit the... Does this compress or something? I'm probably missing something here. Knowing me, I am. Why is that not going in? Does it spin around or something? No. Yeah, it looks like these supposed to go in that. So why is that not? Oh, okay. I just have to compress it harder. All those fills give it a little more oomph. Okay, cool. That's not terrible. I wish this drum spin though. Okay, these should plug directly in. Yep, I do. Does this slide up or something? Or it looks like it does something. Oh, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just like that. It does have a place here to put the gun around the top, just like the original toy did, except for the original toy actually had Devastator's gun up here, which I might try that sometime. Very cool. I know I don't have it pressed in and compressed in all the way there, but that's okay. I'm not gonna be too rough with it, because I'm gonna, put this guy in Devastator mode anyway. But yeah, he's pretty neat. I like him. He's chunky though. This does feel like a Tonka truck. Hasbro, repaint these things yellow for me, please. I do like these. Very cool. I think these are nice. They're pinned in wheels, which is nice too. No more of that mushroom peg nonsense. I'll put him next to his other compadres. Yep. Now this, I don't think there's any way of getting a Diaclone pilot in there. I don't think that's going to work. Because this whole thing here, I think, has to do something different. Or something, I don't know. I mean, it looks like this lifts up, but... Oh yeah, it lifts. Okay, yeah, it does that for combination mode. I mean, I guess can you actually fit a pilot in there? Maybe? I don't know. I don't think I can, and I'm obviously not going to force it because these guys are really hard to come by. Look at that! I have a Diaclone pilot in there. Look at this. Watch. He'll actually fit. Nice. Fits standing up, but hey, he's in there. That's awesome. Well, I got 3 of them that can actually hold it. Well, he kind of holds a Diaclone pilot. If you got rid of this cab, he can literally sit down in that little cavity just like there and drive this cabinet around like he's an actual drone. I know he's not a drone. Don't get on to me about that. By the way, I do like the idea of the grill. It's all nice and painted. He does have a Decepticon emblem right there in the middle. It's kind of cool. I preferred it maybe here on the side. Would have been nice. I'm sure Toy Hacks has got something going on with that. I'm not sure what goes on with this barrel. I'm sure this is something to do with combination mode or something. But solid? Yes. He's awesome. He's just a merman. He's a merman. It's cool. Buy one. They're awesome. That's all I gotta say about this. Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover 1986 Transformers Studio Series Scrapper. Here's Scrapper in his Autobot box. Somebody tell me why he's an Autobot. He's not an Autobot. I don't like the idea he's an Autobot. That's not cool. This isn't Tonkinator. I don't get it. Same artwork as the other ones, which I see the appeal there. That's fine. What does his bio say? Scrapper is the engineer and designer of the Constructicons. He combines with other Constructicons to form Devastator. That's the longest bio we've had so far. That doesn't sound like it's generic. Kind of. Anyway. Does have a big Decepticon emblem right there on the artwork. So artwork's pretty nice. I like this. This is the thing. This is a caveat to all the people out there that watch this or are fans. Why in the world isn't Hasbro just throwing poster art in here of this? Throw in poster art for these. People will buy these and want the posters because the posters are amazing and they're great to put on your wall and it makes things look cool. Go back to doing posters, people. Please. We like posters. Stop fiddling around and giving us this subpar weirdness that you've been giving us for a while. We're kind of tired of that. Anyway, that's a side note. If you guys have been watching this series, I am first time ever opening these and actually having experience with these toys. I did used to have the Combiner Wars version, so this is not a biased opinion or anything like that. I have owned the original, I have owned expansion parts for the original. Heck, I used to own Diaclone Devastator. I've owned every iteration of this thing, I swear. I even used to own that Energon Devastator that not many people liked. I had Landfill as well in Devastator colors. So I've had many Devastators. See, the idea that they decide to put this on it, this is kind of muddy too. Look at this. What is up with this? Okay. This is a nitpick. Oh no. Honestly, this is more than a nitpick on this. That's something I just noticed. Look how vibrant this is, and look at Scrappers. What is up with that? Come on. Come on, Hasbro. I'd hate to see what the instructions themselves look like. Yeah, see how dark they are? You can't even hardly see what you're doing with this one. No, this isn't cool. Anyway. I'm going to put the instructions aside because that infuriates me. Because they've been cheapening out on things like that. That's the other thing. Why is this an Autobot burrito? He's not an Autobot. This isn't Tonkinator. Anyway. I don't know. It's little stuff like this that gets me sometimes that they've been doing lately. I'm not complaining about the toys themselves. They're actually not bad. One thing that is bad are these stupid things. I hate these plastic things. They're so annoying. Like, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember. Some of you guys probably are that have bought this. Remember when they came out with the twisty ties? They were actually like metal and had rubber wrapped around them, which you could reuse those to tie up things and do things with. And then they had the paper ones. The paper ones I didn't mind. You just throw the paper ones away and they'd be fine. This? No, I'm dealing with pieces of plastic that literally are just getting thrown in the trash. Like these serve the only purpose they serve is to hold the toy in and be thrown away. And they were trying to be environmentally friendly. Food for thought there, guys. Anyway. Let's see here. Let's get rid of these. And I know some people are probably like, oh, well, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right on the last ones, or whatever. Guys, like I said, I'm not using someone else's of a lot of this stuff to form my own opinion. I've seen a lot of reviews of this. I like forming my own opinion of my own toys. It's something I've always done on this channel. I've done that ever since the beginning of this. Like, if you guys remember going back, watch my old stuff. Back when I did Power Core Combiners, you know, the thing that nobody ever wanted to talk about. I absolutely love that line. I regret selling that line. That line was fun. This is like Christmas. Okay, cool. We got actual pieces of Devastator's gun in this one. Makes sense to come with Scrapper though, because he is obviously the leader. The Destructicons. The Constructicons. Take a look at his blaster. And by the way, I forgot to mention these are compatible with your blast effects. So very nice. I like it. I like the idea. These all have little tiny little holes on them, so I'm wondering if I can probably combine them all together into one big gun. I'm gonna try that thing. Got Devastator's gun here, which looks like it just plugs together like that. Yeah, it does, because it's got a slot right there. That's pretty cool. Can I do the thing with Mixmaster? His original Mixmaster was able to do this. Yes, he can. He can hold the gun just fine like that. Can I hold it back further? Probably not, no. That's okay, because you always handle it by the handle like that. So there you go. For you purists out there that wanted your Mixmaster to come with Devastator's gun, there you go. This doesn't look like it's a blast effect compatible, though it might be. I don't know. I'll have to test that later. Yeah, he's got a, you know, wrong gun. This gun's pretty neat. It's got like a little tab sticking out here on the side, so I think this kind of pegs in on the side or something. I'll have to find that out when we get to that point. Anyway, Scrapper here in frame, and check him out. Let's see, does this all fold up on his back? Okay, cool. I can actually fold this up so it's not up as high on his back. That's nice. And standard articulation, not bad. It's pretty much standard articulation nowadays, and that's one thing it does kind of have a little bit of a butterfly joint there, which is kind of cool. That's nice. It's different. Does he have a waist swivel? No, I don't think he does. Probably not, because he's supposed to be the other leg, so does he on a little teapot? Yes, he does. It's a pretty rough ratchet, but hey, that's fine. It needs to be stable to hold this entire thing up when it's combined. Yay, I can sit here and spin his wheels. Yeah, he's got pretty good articulation. I like the silver. This silver looks really good. It's very chromy. I like that. Standard ankle rocker articulation because you need your broken ankles. Help me, guys, help me. I'm falling and I can't get up. It's getting old. His pew pew blaster gun. I'm sure he can hold Devastator's gun in hand. Yep. Can he actually handle it and not fall over? Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Can't complain there. Alright. Not terrible. Not terrible. Okay, let's ditch these guns now. Let's see, how's this work? These fold in, looks like. Okay, so it looks like he's got backward. Okay, so yeah, his elbows can literally go all the way backward too, if you want them to. Yeah, notice, we're gonna put him back in his robot, or his vehicle mode. How does this work? Does this lift open or something? Oh, it does. Hides his head. Boop. Just like that. Let's see. Let's go in like this. That's got a nice little click. Let's see here. How does your legs work? I don't know. I actually ask myself that every day when I get out of bed. How do my legs work? Does this actually... Nope. Doesn't do that. How does that work? Oh, okay. Alright, so okay, cool. There we go. And then the engine compartment closes. Okay, cool. Not mad at that. Aha! Hey guys, we have a loader here. There, pegs right there, and then this whole thing looks like it pushes down just like so. There we go. Oh wait, does this? Oh yeah, it does. Haha, nice. I know I probably don't have him pushed together all the way. That's okay. Like I said, I'm not trying to be too rough with them because these do belong to a friend of mine. There we go. I got to straighten it out. It rolls pretty good. Just feel like they're kind of dragging a little bit, but maybe it's because I don't have something compressed down hard enough. I just like the idea he has like all his engine bits down there. He rolls pretty good though. I do like that. Where's his Decepticon emblem though? There's no Decepticon. Are you kidding me? No Decepticon emblem in vehicle mode? What's up with that? Come on, Hasbro. No, he has it in Autobot or in his robot mode. Couldn't have thrown it here in a bucket right here. And it just went boop right there. I mean, I don't know. He does have articulation now for his loading mechanism. Little gun here, looks like it doesn't actually have a hole to peg in, so I think that's why it's got this side peg. But how does the side peg work on... Am I missing something here? No? Yes? No? I don't know. I don't know, you tell me. I mean, I guess that's weapon storage. He doesn't actually have a forward-facing gun situation here or something? What? I mean, I guess I can flip up a fist and stick... Yeah, no. Weird. Okay, now that's really strange. Why in the heck would they not give you, like, a port somewhere? Or, I mean, I know they had to put a pin here, but there's enough room here on the cab that could have went boop and then gave it so we can put his gun on top like this. I don't get it. Why? Why? I don't get this. Somebody explain that one to me. Here, you can carry your gun around here like this. Because the maker was too lazy to make it so we can attach it. This has nowhere to attach, it looks like. Unless you do this. I mean, it does attach there like that, but because it's got a peg right here sticking out. Maybe that's what they expect you to do, is take this and plug this in this. Okay, I get it. They want you to plug the gun onto the side here. You know, we'll just do it this way. Because it does have a little thing there too. And then they want you to plug the whole gun onto this side. Which is silly. He should have came with the wings. I'm going to have to figure out if that can even happen. Anyway, here is these two Axel G1 Mixmaster. The colors are pretty close. Like I said, these guys are a little lighter color than the original. Before I get too far, can I at least fit a diagonal driver here? Because I know I can't fit it in the cab. No. Darn. Scrapper's like really making me sad. I mean, I expected the gun to just have 5,000 ports to plug on. That's strange. I just don't. Am I doing something wrong here, guys? Please tell me if I am. If I'm not, then, you know, tell me, yeah, you're right. This should have been done that way. And they failed to do it. Yeah, it makes sense. Hasbro tends to do things we don't like sometimes. Okay, next to the rest of his compadres. Looks pretty cool. Looks like a bunch of construction vehicles. Just like he's supposed to be. Yep. Next to Merman. Yep. I play with my toys. Anyway, welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover the Hook and Long Haul compilation package of the 1986 Studio Series Transformers Devastator thing, Constructicons. Guess what? There's still Autobots, apparently. Looking at the box art here, it's kind of cool seeing these both in their vehicle mode here on the side. That's kind of nice. I don't mind that. The artwork here is really good. I do like this artwork. This is them fighting on Autobot City. This is a little more to the flavor of what we want to see. 19 steps. This is number 3 of 5. Go figure. They still got the numbers wrong. Anyway, here's Devastator here on the side. And our obligatory product shot that shows all the craziness this does. And this right here says Long Haul and Hook combined with other Constructicons to form Devastator. It's like they phoned in on 4 of these guys, or well, yeah, 4 and or 3 of these boxes with this. I do like the idea that this is still the same artwork. Although this is a little bigger shot of what's going on the back of these smaller ones here, so it's a little more defined. You can kind of see Sludge's head now, which is kind of funny. Not bad. Said my friend let me borrow these, so we're going to crack these open and try them out, because I have never had these. I have had the Combiner Wars version, but not these. So, and these are brand new. They have never been used, never been took out of the package. They belong to him. They don't belong to me, so I have to be extra careful with this stuff. So apparently, Long Haul comes with a trailer attachment. Now this is my question for those guys out there who had the Combiner Wars one. Did you guys like the idea that Long Haul was a big chunky thing that turned into most of what you needed to make the waste? Or do you like the fact that he's just a separate dude that has to carry a separate trailer just to have all the combiner parts? I mean, honestly, personally, I think they could have just took the combiner parts and sold that as like a package by itself. Or just threw it in with one figure. All the combiner parts at once. Kind of like, well, I mean, back in the day, they spread them out. I know that, amongst all of them, but I don't know. I find it weird. Anyway. I'm going to go ahead and crack this thing open. This thing is a lot different kind of box, so... How does this come out? Ruining anything here. Okay, I probably should flip this on its back. The Decepticons roll out. That's what this looks like. We're hiding in the Ark. Yeah, this is going to take some doing getting this out of here. My first impressions with the packaging though here, the way this 2-pack looks like it's put in here kind of reminds me of the way Combiner Wars was. One thing I did not like about the Combiner Wars one is it didn't actually have trays to put everybody back in. Kind of wish they would have created trays for everything. Okay. Got the box out of the way. So I got a whole thing here that's just for putting Devastator together. That's cool. Alright, I'm not mad at that. That's nice. Set that to the side. By the way, I'm noticing the printing on these are better. Scrappers was horrible. But this is just Long Haul and Hook. Just one instruction manual for those two. That's kind of nice. Cool that this set actually came with the full instructions. The way this is kind of laid out in here is kind of neat. I don't mind how they did that. I just don't like the fact that after I get done cutting all these 1,000 little plastic straps that they're going to end up in the ether somewhere. Yeah, I was able to pull out one of the Devastator's wings just by stretching the plastic thing. That's nice. Like that. Can I do the same thing with Hook? Nah, probably not. Can't really get Hook's crane arm out like that. So let's get those loose. Put all the pieces over here to the side. So release Long Haul from his little thing. And these guys are all in vehicle mode, which is interesting. I mean, I guess it's mainly because they have to make them fit. And I can tell you right now, these guys have got some heft to them. These guys all kind of feel like Tonka trucks to me. I like that. This is just a big empty void chasm here. There's nothing in that. Let's see. Cut this thing loose. You know, because Long Haul's always been known for his trailer, right? It is. Well, at least it's not a burrito of doom. Just a plastic bag full of stuff. I don't know, I'll just slide it out. Why do you guys have to tape it in? I don't understand. By the way, the plastic things weren't bad enough. They had to add these. Ugh. Yuck. Look at how many pieces of plastic is literally hanging on the back of this package. Alright, there we go. Cut the tape. Trying to get it out. Oh, look. Yeah, I got my plastic bag out. I don't mind like the bag actually happen to have something, but I mean, you're trying to be environmentally friendly and you're doing this? No. huge no. That is not environmentally friendly. This is not. Alrighty. Now that I've created a huge mess. So crack open this. So these are obviously parts for Devastator. Or part for Devastator. Pew cannon. I guess you have to put this together. Looks like that goes just like that. Cool. Alright, that must be that's Long Haul's gun. And then there's Hook's gun. And you got these little fists of doom. We'll figure out how these work later. I'll be covering Devastator separately, mainly because these guys take a while to do on each one. Let's look at Hook first. Frame, you idiot. And grab his hook. Okay, so it looks like just a 5mm port. That's cool that just plugs right in. The original one actually had a rotating gimmick here. This one does not. Much like Combiner Wars, this does not move, it looks like. That's kind of sad, but oh well. Can't complain. Does this extend? How far does it extend? That's it. You have all this, and it only... And I would assume you'd want a longer hook than that, especially since you're a hook truck. And you're supposed to be hoisting things up to the top of a skyscraper. I mean, it is cool that this still can rotate like this without this, which is A+ compared to the Combiner Wars one, which didn't do that. So, and this does actually have some kind of like movement, which is nice. So yeah, it literally works as a hook truck. Don't mind the detail. The detail's pretty good on this. He does have his little headlights here picked out in silver. That's kind of nice. Glad to see that. First one. Pop loose in the box like that. Not terrible though. Would have been nice to see tail lights picked out, but you know, Toy Hacks will end up taking care of all that mess. Looks like the cab here opens up. Oh man, can I fit a Diaclone driver in there? Probably with this out of the world. If this wasn't in here, I bet you I could have. No. No. Man. If this wasn't in the way, I could easily fit a Diaclone driver in there. Yeah, it doesn't look like the back cab. Yeah, this doesn't open, so I can't put one back there. Man. Ruining all my fun. Anyway. This little pew-pew here. Looks like in... I guess it's supposed to... You can't even plug it in here. Okay. How does this plug on now? Is it this little... Okay, alright, so there's a little hole here on the side of the gun that actually allows me to plug it in there. Okay, cool. That's kind of what the G1 kind of did, that type of thing too, so it's kind of strange. Yeah, it's got this little bitty hole that plugs into that little nub. So, that's pretty cool. Not bad. It's got exposed hands, but I think that's probably just something you can't really avoid. He does, you know, I don't even see his head. Hi. Because I can't spin his head around. Figured maybe I could spin his head around and hide it, but I guess not. Alright, well, let's put this idiot in the robot mode. He does have one Decepticon in, it was right there. Like, right there. You need a microscope to see it. It's right there. See? It's right... Do you see it? It's there. There. Anyway, let's see if I can figure this guy out without instructions. So that's got to be for combine mode. So since this here was kind of popped loose, I think this actually becomes his feet. So let's see. Does this pop? Yeah, looks like it pops loose from there. This is kind of like that palm plastic, kind of really stretchy kind of stuff. Push this back a little bit. Okay, cool. So this comes down, and then that does that, and then okay. And looks like these unpeg from here, and then these flip. Okay, so these flip out. Interesting. These, okay, cool. So this kind of lifts up a little bit, and then folds off, goes on those back. There we go. Yeah, and we got some legs. How hard is his arms? His arms should just pop right outward, probably, and that's about it. Let's see. Come on, dude. Release. There we go. Get this in here to release. Something that's kind of weird here, I'll point it out here in a minute, I just noticed. The back part of these are fake wheels. That's fake. It's made to look like he has dualies, but he doesn't actually have dualies. That's interesting. I think he's kind of cool. That's pretty much him in robot mode. It wasn't really hard to put him in robot mode. It's nice that his, this doesn't weigh it down too much. Does this actually press down or something here? Okay, yeah, it looks like this rocks down or something. I mean, he's always had this thing that's stuck up over his back. Okay, that shifts over. That's probably for combine mode. This looks like it doesn't actually shift down. Yeah, it does. It shifts down. I figured it out. I figured it out. See, Plasticon knows things sometimes. Not bad. Can't really complain about his articulation. I mean, this you can't, but if you left this up, he's got plenty of articulation there. So he's got his little fist here to fold in. Little arms. Head's obviously on a ball joint, so you can move it around quite a bit. Got that. Can you do the band down? Of course he can. You get the hook out of the way. Because he's hook. Get it? Anyway. Waist swivel? No. I wouldn't think this... A lot of these guys I don't think is going to have waist swivel just because of how they have to combine. It's because this guy looks like he does kind of lie him a little teapot, probably because he has to kind of split in half like, you know, like he normally does. He does have not bad ankle tilt. That's pretty good. Not terrible. Can't complain there. Or I could, but it would do no good. I'm gonna put this here in his hand. And pew bang bang. He does have a Decepticon emblem there. Why does Scrapper, the leader, have one Decepticon emblem, but there's not one in his vehicle mode? That bothers me. I don't know why, but it just bothers me. Anyway, I'm gonna get this guy out of the way and take a look at Hook. Or Long Haul. Here's Long Haul in his dump truck mode. He's got a Tonka truck. Boom, boom. Does he do the dump bed? Just like the G1 where the wheels come up off the ground. Yep. Score. That's a win in my books right there. Now, I do know he's got like a hidden engine compartment, which is all picked out in silver, which is absolutely fantastic that you can see that diesel engine in there. I do know this is also for transformation, but it's cool if they put that in there. I like the idea his headlights are painted. It's obviously not going to be big enough for me. I can't put no Diaclone figure in here again, can I? No. Can't do anything with the cab. So I have 3 for 3 that I can do Diaclone figures in. Anyway. Is Pew Pew. Looks like it's got a mount here on the side. Which is fine. Actually, you know what? I think I got these guns backward now that I think about it. That's okay. Here. Let me fix that real quick. For somebody that's out there screaming at me. Look. I have hooks. You know what? I think I'm absolutely wrong on that, because I think the reason I remember this is because this is on like Mixmaster or something when you put him in combine mode or something. You know what? They're pew-pews. They all have a pew-pew. Last effect compatible pew-pews. Is this actually... Well, it's the only place I can plug it in at. It's sad times. Kind of cool though, they kept his old little intake here, and you know, his smokestacks are here. I mean, you can act like he's dumping stuff though. This is the plus. He's a dump truck that can actually dump. I'm a fan. I like it. Now, how does this trailer attach? This is the question. How does this attach? It's got like a little thing here sticking out. It looks like... Okay, yeah, I'm seeing a Plasticon kind of thing here where you have to wedge it in between this. Like I said, I've seen some reviews of this thing, not a lot. And these are my opinions of this stuff, so there's no bias to anything here. I actually like this set so far. It's not bad. I know I'm ragging on the box art and stuff a lot, but hey, I'm sorry, but it's lazy. It's just lazy. They could do so much more with that. Okay, cool. Now he's got a trailer to pull around. And from what I've been told, this is like a thing in Canada, apparently. There's some dump trucks that pull trailers. The only dump trucks I've ever seen in the States do that are tiny ones, not big ones. Probably do this all day. Can do the do, you know. And as well as this rolls, this makes me want a freaking rails. That's like, you know, that rolls back and forth like a train. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so now we got all this junk. This stuff. How's this all work now? I'm assuming... Is this... Okay, alright, much like Combiner Wars. You've got these fists. Looks like they all do kind of the same thing, maybe? Like the Combiner Wars one did? You can just plug the fist in and then stick it on the back. Okay, cool. Alright. So now this looks like. There we go, I got a missile pod. Yay, missile pod. This isn't too hard to figure out. I don't mind that. That's one thing that am I having fun? That's the question. That's the biggest question with this whole thing. Is, am I actually having fun with these? Yeah, I am. Do I have fun with the originals? Yes, I do. I think this is a lot of added on craziness here. This is a little more chunkier and not quite as frail as the original, but... Alright, so how's this attach? Where does this attach? Like, I don't see any place for this to attach. It doesn't just lay on there, I know that, it can't. Alright, these look like they have little wing things. they attach these little pegs here on the side. I'm getting a very God Bomber feel from that. Not bad about that though. I think that's kind of cool. Still trying to figure out where this goes, unless this just plugs onto the side of long haul like this. Like, I'm gonna carry everything around like this. Although I thought the whole point was he's supposed to be able to carry everything on the trailer. So, oh, I could probably make this work somewhere. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I smacked the camera. These are all like 5mm ports. But this destroys his Macross missile spam if I do that. I mean, I guess I could set this in between. Actually, if you do that, that looks kind of cool. You don't actually have to like plug it in, but it could sit on top. I mean, there we go. I don't mind that. That's cool. That's just me playing with it. I'm not really sure how all that works. That's okay. Let's put this chunk to the side. And take a look at him. Let's see if I can figure out how to transform him. So I'm assuming his legs just fold out like that. And I bet you he's got these little, but these are heel spurs. Or something. Okay, yeah. Sure, why not? There we go. That gets him some feet. Okay, yeah. You know, it feels much like the original. The original actually slid out. These flip out. These are different than the Combiner Wars one, though. That's for sure. But not so much that I don't like them. I think they've done a pretty good job here. Okay, so this... Oh. You guys remember Sideways Elbow Action? That's what I'm getting from this. Alright, flip that down. And then this whole thing here looks like... Oh, cool. Awesome. Does this compress? Yes, it does. Nice. Okay, so that kind of cleans up there a little bit. And then these look like they plug in. So, and then this little hand flips out. There we go. And it plugs in like so. And then this little hand flips out. There we go. Cool. There we go. The chunkster's a chunkster. Very appropriate. And I can still do this like I used to do when I was a kid. Oh, love it. Yep, nice. He's got pretty much all the posability you're going to want, especially for a big chunkster dude. He's nice. I like him. Honestly, long haul's always been one of my favorite, because I don't know what it is. I like dump trucks. Have him hold his little tiny pew-pew gun. Assuming he can hold this weird blaster or whatever the heck this is. I know this is like the center part to Devastator. I know what this is. Don't get me wrong with that. What the heck? Why is that not going in his hand? I'm not going to force it. Oh man, they could have made that a 5mm. I guess they didn't because it has something to do with combined mode. Very cool, very cool. I like him. He's neat. Put him over here next to Hook. They're a neat little duo. I like them. They're not bad. Overall, I think they're pretty sweet. Buys them, gets them. I'm gonna have to get these guys all put into vehicle mode. And, you know, obviously, there is color, like I said, is slightly darker on the original than it is these guys. Not by much, but just a tad. It's like a slight little. If you had that little hue slider thingy, That's how you'd have to just kind of fix it just a little bit. But, you know, unfortunately, I can't fit a Diaclone driver. But, Merman for comparison. What in the heck was that? Nonsense going on outside. I live in the city, what do you expect? As long as somebody honk, honk. You know, back in the day when we used to drive down the road and you saw a truck driver and you do the whole pull down motion for them to honk their horn. Yeah, that. Why don't people do that anymore? Anyway, get out of here, dude. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about these two. I think they're neat. I like them. How hard are they to put back in robot mode? Probably, or not robot mode, but vehicle mode. Probably not hard. But anyway, you guys tune in later. I'll end up showing you guys how these guys go together. And I'll give you guys my overall final thoughts. This has been Plasticon. This is me signing off. Peace out, y'all. I'll see you around. That's it for now. Bye.
Dark dominion, machines awake, building futures that we can't fake. Print the stars, design the sky.